video. In today's video I will show you how to deploy a Node.js REST API to AWS Lambda. Now this procedure will apply to any kind of a Node.js environment. So if you are using Nest.js, then the procedure will remain more or less the same. So that's one thing. The second thing is this serverless thing which I am using can be applied to different programming language as well. So just search for serverless and it should give you a documentation on if you are using some other programming language, then it should give, like, it supports popular programming languages like Golang, Java, I think C# as well. So yeah, let's get started on ExpressJS and how to deploy it to AWS Lambda. So here as you can see, this is my Node.js app. It's very simple. Inside my package.json you can see that I have just added ExpressJS as the dependency, and if you see my app.js file, inside scripts also I will add something like npm run start. Okay, so I can add something like node app.js. okay, now what I will do is so here you can see I have just copy pasted this boilerplate code from ExpressJS as well. So here you can see this is for course handling. This is one of my routes, so base URL route, and where I'm just returning a string called hello world, and here is another route called /lambda where I'm returning hello from lambda. Now if you want to test it on Postman, you can just comment this out, and you can just go to your terminal and just run npm run start, and you can visit like localhost :/localhost 3000 and it should give you hello world, and if you go localhost :3000/lambda, it should give you hello from lambda. Now how to convert this to a lambda function and deploy it on your AWS Lambda. So firstly you will have to remove this, comment it out, and you will have to add this. Okay, so we will be exporting our app.js to something else. Next thing is, so I have written down all the steps. Next thing is you will have to install this serverless thing globally. So for this you will require Node.js, and again please note, it will be installed globally and not to your Node.js application. So this will be installed globally. Once you do that, given that you have to deploy it to AWS, you will either already have access to AWS Lambda. Okay, apart from Lambda, you will also, I have written down all this, what all you need access to. You need access to CloudFormation, delete stack, describe change set, describe stack events, describe stack resource, create change set, validate template, delete change set. Then inside CloudWatch logs, create log group. Then inside API gateway you require put inside CloudFormation, execute change set, CloudWatch log stack resource. And after that I got little frustrated because I was getting a lot of errors. So I for API gateway, so I gave access to entire API gateway for my IMA user, because I was the root user as well as the IMA user. And inside IMA I also gave access to create role, as well as later on I got frustrated and gave access to all IMA roles for my particular IMA user as well. But you should not do this. If you know what specific things you would require, you can give it. But I got frustrated because every time I was doing deploy, it was saying, AWS was telling me that okay, you don't have access to this, you don't have access to this, and I'm not really good at AWS. That's why I didn't really know what all permissions you require. But these are all permissions which you require as far as I know. Next, once, suppose if you are not your root user, you can ask your root user to give you all this permission. Once you get that, you will also require the secret key as well as the access key for your AWS Lambda. So you can ask your root user for that as well. Once you get that, you will have to run this command over inside your terminal. So go to the cd to your project and run this command, but make sure you replace this key with whatever your key is. So suppose my key is 1234 and my secret key is I don't know, 456, something like that. So your command will look something like this. So I will just apply this command and come back. Then this command and make sure you use this double dash dash before provider, double dash dash before key, and double dash dash before secret as well. Next we have to create a serverless config for AWS Node.js. So this is a default command which is present inside this serverless package which we have installed globally. So I will just go to my terminal and I will run this command, and it will create a few files for us. So as you can see over here, it has created this service serverless.yaml file as well as this handler.js, and we will have to modify this serverless.yaml. We will come to that, but before that you will also need to install this npm install serverless-http locally to our project, because this will help us to wrap our ExpressJS app inside a serverless http. So I will just install that dependency as well. And lastly, what I'll do is, by the time it is installing, so you will again have to go to your scripts. I will add one command, so I will just go to deploy, and here I will add serverless deploy. Okay, so this is done, because once I run npm run deploy, it will handle everything for us. So yeah, what you can do is you can install the AWS CLI. So just search for Google on how to install the AWS CLI. It will be a command line, like it will be a command which you just have to run on your terminal, and just run AWS CLI, and it should get installed for you. So just search for on Google on how to install the AWS CLI. This is required because we have to run this command called AWS configure. So this should be small, sorry about that. So just run AWS space configure, and it will I think it will ask you for your access key, like it will show you your key as well as secret access key. And if you, the third option would be to configure the region. So make sure you enter your region as well, like EU East 1 or whatever your region you are defining inside your serverless.yaml file. So I think that is important as well. To do, we have to go to our handler.js, and you can ignore this bottom part for now, because like I will be referencing this file which I have already created for my demo project. It's very difficult to remember things, so you might be having a file something like this. So what we will do is we will just remove everything. Okay, and this you can change it to whatever you want, but if you change this name, make sure you change it to serverless inside serverless.yaml as well. So for now I'll just keep it as it is. And what you will have to do, firstly you will have to add this import called serverless equal to serverless.http, because we have added this dependency, and also we have created this app.js file, okay, which contains entire express thing for express routes and REST APIs for us. And inside this hello, I will just add something like this. So what it does is basically wraps our ExpressJS app inside this serverless http. Next, we will go to serverless.yaml, and I'll remove all this thing. I don't need all this stuff. Okay, I'll keep the service name as it is. If you want to change the service name, you can change it. Keep the framework version as it is. In case in future if it is updated, keep as it is, don't use version 3. And here you can change whatever you want to. So the name is AWS. Memory size I will give it as 2048. If you want to keep it as default, then you will have to check the documentation on what the default memory size is. Stage I will keep it as dev. If it is production for you, you can use production. And timeout I will set it as 15 seconds, so this is seconds and not minutes. Next, region I will set it as EU -node-1. And what else? So here we will have to define, so I will just delete. We don't need this, all this stuff. Okay, so I'll remove this, I'll remove this as well. And here you can see we have defined the functions hello, and if you have changed it inside handler.js, make sure you change it over here as well as over here. And what all methods do we have? So we have so I'll just copy this events. Okay, then put a space like a tab, then http, and inside that we have one path. So I'll just add this path as well, and the method is get method. If it is post, you can just add post as well. So if you can write something like this as well, capital get or small get, doesn't really matter. And also we have one more method, right? So if we go to app.js, you can see we have this /lambda as well. So what I can do is http. Okay, then I'll add this path /lambda, and the method again is get. here I am able to see my Node.js function. So before that I made a small typo here, so make sure you change this. I forgot e over here, so make sure everything you have typed correctly. So this is our function, and also you will have to run npm run deploy from your terminal. So cd to your project and just run npm run deploy, and here you can see that here is my hello world when I go to the base URL. And once you run npm run deploy, the AWS Lambda function itself will give you the URL where it is deployed. So inside the terminal itself it will give you the URL, so you don't have to worry about it. And also if I go to /lambda, also I can see the hello from Lambda. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye. Last step is about deletion of our Lambda. So if you have created your Lambda just for testing purpose, don't forget to delete your Lambda. So first go to just go to AWS, search for Lambda, and you can easily delete it. Just select your Lambda and delete it. Also you will have to go to CloudFormation, and inside that you will have to go to stacks, and first select your CloudFormation and click on delete. Wait for some time. If it does not get delete, or if it shows that failed to delete, then you again select it, click on delete, and the next time it will show that there is a checkbox to check this what it is called S3 something S3 deployment bucket, because that is created automatically when you are deploying it to Lambda. So make sure you check that as well and click on delete. Just you don't have to go through go to S3 deployment. Just stay on CloudFormation stacks, select your CloudFormation again. If it doesn't get deleted, try to delete it again, and you should see a checkbox for which allowing you to check that S3 deployment bucket as well. Or if you want, you can go manually as well. And there is one more thing which I would like to tell. So suppose you have run np serverless deploy. Sometimes what happens is that you might get an issue something like this: service cannot be deployed as the CloudFormation stack is in review progress state. To resolve this, you can either run this sls remove command. So sls remove will help you to remove this CloudFormation stack, and if it doesn't get removed, you can go manually and try to delete it. If it and try to deploy it again. If you still keep getting this error, what you should do is you will have to go to serverless.yaml and make sure you change this name. So change your service name, just add some appending text to it, or do whatever you want, and then try to deploy it again. And I'm pretty sure that it should be able to resolve the issue now.